What's up, ladies and gents? Noli here, and welcome to another Payday 2 mod showcase. In this video, we're taking a look at what is right now the biggest Payday 2 mod out there. It's an incredibly divisive mod. It's split the community in half. It is, of course, GoonHud or GoonMod. It's rather infamous, and it changes so many good things that the community has asked for, but because of one or two of its features, it treads the line of being a hack or a cheat. So we're going to take a deep look at this, see where I stand, see where Overkill stands, and talk about this mod in context. As with any bundle modification, GoonMod requires a fantastic options menu, and that is exactly what it has. If we move through here, you can see you can auto check for updates. It's incredibly easy to install, and it's very good once installed. I'm not going to give you an installation tutorial. If you're struggling with it, I'm going to link you to a video below. Game Mechanic has all that covered in his own little taking a look at the GoonMod video. But these are the options immediately. These are the options for the things you've got installed. If you go over here to modifications, you can turn them all on and off. I'm going to walk through each of these individually. Some of them are going to take much longer than others, but we can turn any of them off. So if mutators are a problem for you, switch them off. You don't have to deal with them, and obviously you don't have to use them in the first place, even if they are switched on. We'll talk about mutators later, but they really are the moot point within this this mod, if you ask me. I think without some of these mutators, this could potentially be a fully endorsed Overkill mod. So think on that one, guys. But there are so many interesting things here. Just so you guys know, GoonHud, as it was originally called, started off with the use of this corpse delimiter. I believe it also started with the grenade indicator and the custom waypoints. These are all little HUD additions, or in the case of the corpse delimiter, it's something we've seen in some other mods that allows for essentially an infinite number of corpses to lie around the floor. Additional realism, no performance drops. It's a great mod, and that's how it started off. And all of these are extensions of the original mod, and that's what I like to see. In no way was this mod set up to be a cheat or a hack. So it was an extension of some fantastic but limited additions to the game that has grown into something sort of walking the tight line, I would say, between the two, and I'm going to talk about that in detail later on. But overall, options are fantastic. If we take a look at what we can do further in color grading, this is something we've seen in other mods to get rid of this washed out. We can move through all of these different options. I'm going to leave it on default for now. You can limit the number of corpses if you feel like 1,024. That's definitely a fair few. If you feel like you are suffering performance drops, which you shouldn't, then you can drop it down. And all of these are brilliant. The fact that you're able to change these tiny little details is hugely important, and you can customize GoonHud to be exactly what you want it to be as limited or as full as you choose, and to be very specific in what it changes exactly. Custom waypoints, as you can see, I believe you can set keybinds for it. Yes, you can. This is excellent. This is like it belongs in the game. Distance on waypoints is another useful feature. How far away are you from where it is set? You can press K, by the way. I haven't fully talked about this. Press K to place a waypoint, which you and anyone else in the host that has GoonMod installed and has this mod activated can see, and it can allow for additional interaction, additional communication, and really, I feel should have been in the game from the start, especially since pre-planning has hyped up. Waypoints should also exist. We're going to talk about all the features individually, though. That's the options menu, as I've already said. Great options, good to see, and those of you who consider this to be a cheat can definitely take a look at these options and see, well, if I just want some of the aesthetic features of GoonHud, I don't have to work through the cheating parts. I say that in inverted commas because, as I said, treads a tight line. So I'm going to start off with customization, because this is absolutely where this mod shines. First of all, we have the Blaster 9mm, one of my favourite submachine guns in the game, Hotline Miami feel. As you can see, I've customized it. Using in-game materials, it feels even more Hotline Miami. That was one I prepared earlier. We're going to do one right now on the spot. Let's see, what would be a nice thing to customize? Locomotive. Now, it's incredibly detailed what you can customize. So here's my science locomotive. If I choose to modify all these parts, I can have a pink locomotive. And that will show up in the game like that. Now, the colors, this is definitely the most unfinished part of the mod. The colours won't necessarily show up quite as nicely as this, quite as obvious as this, and the lighting effects definitely messes around with it. So if you go for like a titanium feel with it and you just want the sheen, it's not going to show up as nicely as different colours do. Equally though, if I just wanted to modify the silent killer suppressor, I could just have that in a different style. Let's think. Pink and no, bright red looks ridiculous. Well, you know, you get the idea. I can customize specific parts on it, as I've already praised many of the weapon retextures for doing that, instead of just being an overall flat retexture. Changing different parts allows for additional customization. A lot of these textured ones also look quite nice. Probably a bad example. Also a bad example, but you get the feel of it. It's definitely a really nice addition. Remember, these are only going to be client-side, so only you are going to see it, but tell me it's not incredibly enjoyable, and every weapon customizes exactly the same. You're going to notice the ones that customize in the nicest fashion tend to be the bigger ones, and they do save when you turn off the game. You can delete and remove them. Now, as far as I can tell, it doesn't use your materials up, but it just utilizes what you have in stock. So, customization is top-notch. This is unbelievable. This allows basically you to redesign the look of your own weapons the same way you would if you downloaded any retexture. Now, I wouldn't say this wipes out the need for retextures, because, you know, you can definitely do cooler things with completely new texture meshes, but just for the ease of use, this is fantastic. And a lot of the materials, as we get even more interesting materials in the game, look great. You can go for the patriotic sniper rifle. This looks great. I'm incredibly impressed by this part of the mod. Remember, only you are going to see it though, so it's for your viewing pleasure only. But that's the start of the customization. There's a lot more to go with that, especially concerning lasers and flashlights. You can choose the laser color and flashlight color from within the options menu. As you can see, world laser colors, so you can choose the color of lasers within heists. So within heists such as the diamond, weapon lasers, obviously the underbarrel laser, and then weapon flashlight. And then you can also have the weapon customization. As you can see, this you have to download this separately. Again, you'll see that if you watch Game Mechanics video. You can clear the customization data straight off, but other than that, it's going to save as long as you have the mod installed, which is brilliant. And as far as I'm aware, updates don't remove them either. Do remember, bright colors look nicest and are the most noticeable, and you will be able to see them all in Heist. Brilliant part of the mod. While we're on the topic of customization, I may as well show you the different color grading schemes you can take a look at. We got the default here, of course. Payday Plus brings a lot of color into the foreground. These are slightly glitchy in the background, keep in mind, unfortunately. But these are the overall feels. They all look good. But I'm going to keep it on default. I don't really have a problem with default. I know lots of people are not a fan, but because of the slight glitchiness in the background, I'd much rather just rock default. So not my favorite part of the mod, but I know some people don't like this, and I have messed around with those gradings in the past. Another part of the customization which is important is gauge coins. Now, gauge coins is a currency in this game that is added by GoonMod. To obtain a gauge coin, you have to complete a gauge mod courier assignment. So that means picking up a full set of packages, no matter how many there were. In the assignment, you'll get a single coin for it. These coins can then be traded in for all sorts of different customizations and modifications. So, if we take a look, for example, at the gecko, and I would like a fire breather. I need one gauge coin, which I don't currently have because I haven't picked up a full set of courier, to purchase the fire breather nozzle, which is a fair exchange, I would say. Currency-wise, that goes really well, and it also means if there's something you haven't found yet, but does exist, you can purchase it with a gauge coin, and as such, you don't have to rely on random number generators in the loot screen to get what you're after, which is a nice move in the right direction. It might not be what Overkill wanted. I think Overkill wanted the replayability of the RNG, but I quite like this personally, especially as someone who's done a lot of mask customization. If this was an option for me way back when, it would be so helpful. We have, for example, Mr. Sackcloth. For whatever reason, I sold my last copy of Mr. Sackcloth and I don't have it. If I wanted to grind up 5 gauge coins, which wouldn't take me too long, but it would take a reasonable amount of time, I could purchase it. To the same extent, I could move over here to the infamous mask. If I really wanted Hoxton Begins, purchase that. That's 20 gauge coins. However, if something's locked by an achievement, you can't purchase it. So I can purchase another Deathwish Skull for another 20 because I have it unlocked. But if I find something I've not got unlocked, like a DLC mask over here, like the Butcher from Hell, no purchase option. But because I've unlocked the Pazuzu, I can purchase it with gauge coins. So it's 5 for everything, mask-wise, 20 for the infamous. Moving on to customizations. Currency-wise, I don't know whether they've entirely got it right. These will take a long time to get, keep in mind. But let's see. So a regular material is 1 gauge coin. However, an infamous material is 3 gauge coins. Golden is the only infamous material I've never got, and I can now pick it up without having to rely on ridiculous number generators. As you can see, I've got multiple copies of I've got 5 radioactives, but no golden. And they're supposed to have the same drop rate. So you can see I'd be frustrated by that. With the addition of gauge coins, I wouldn't have to be. However, it's not how the developers intended it, and while they haven't condemned it, neither have they endorsed it, and that worries me ever so slightly. Furthermore, pattern-wise, I've got almost every pattern in the game. The one infamous I haven't picked up is Ace. Purchase that, 3 gauge coins. Same thing, 1 gauge coin for a regular, 3 for one you've not picked up. The Halloween stuff, also purchasable with gauge coins. I wouldn't have these otherwise because I haven't unlocked them at Halloween. I can now purchase them and use them in Mask of the Day. It's such an assistance for my specific line of work in mask creating and Mask of the Days. But there is something a little bit wrong about it. I feel it might just be the balancing on the currency system. And it might just be the fact that Overkill has yet to give it the proper thumbs up. Basically, Almir came out with a statement saying we take a neutral stance for anything that does not affect the enjoyment of other people playing it. We don't want people to mod their game. We don't want people, to hack their game. But that's somewhat unavoidable. With this kind of mod, it's very much so fun in your own home. You can do it all with friends. You cannot force it on others. But there is still that slight element that you can boost yourself up with money, you can boost yourself up with levels, and you can get these customizations that I'm sure Overkill is slightly uncomfortable about. Same thing with color. I've not unlocked 2 colors in the game. I could pick them up really easily. All I have to do is focus on gauge courier packages, which are otherwise kind of useless. So it adds some use to something that has fallen out of any notice, seeing as how the gauge mod courier pack came out ages ago, and it's no longer really of any notable use to most of the people who have bought it. So customization is brilliant, don't get me wrong, but at the gauge coin level, it offers a few points of contention, I would say. And while I am a fan of it, I do see some of the complaints concerning it. But again, it's up to you. This is just aesthetic. If you want to be hardline and not mess around with this, you want to unlock your aesthetic customizations the right way, that's absolutely fine. But someone else doing it this way doesn't harm you, and in no way can you use this to unlock achievements. You wouldn't be able to unlock things that are obtained through achievements in any way you wouldn't be able to, and in that sense, it's fantastic. Before I move on any further, I'd like to just take a quick look at some of these smaller mods that are added. I've already briefly mentioned the custom waypoints. I say it's a small mod, but it does actually change quite a lot. It adds for a bit of additional player-to-player customization, but don't forget both of you require this mod, so you're more than likely in conversation and talking anyway. If GoonMod was to get fully endorsed though, this mod would shoot up in popularity, and we'd see a lot more people working these custom waypoints, and communication would be improved. There's no way you can spam them and it would be overly irritating. And as such, I'm a huge fan of this, and definitely think this is something Overkill should pay heed to. Then we have show markers on flashbangs. Again, something I can't help but like. If you're a realism fan, I get this a lot. Now, there's no realism in Payday. Well, there's some, and some people enjoy it. You won't like this, but I do. I like knowing when flashbangs are flying towards me because they're such a pain, and it allows you to potentially dodge and move away from them. So that's another great addition, if you ask me. Finally, we take a look into the modifications. We have the separate train heist, which I also like. Now, this isn't as Overkill intended it. They intended the train heist to be hard to obtain, but this is content that some people are often locked out of and haven't even tried out because of the RNG involved. Overkill loves the random number generators. But as such, people haven't managed to unlock the train heist, haven't managed to have a go at it, haven't managed to get the achievements for it, and this will allow that. But again, this is one I'm a bit on the fence for. Another small mod is the Remembrance of the Gadget state, which I quite like. You're swapping in and out of weapons, you don't have to return on your gadget, which is probably already customized to be a ridiculous color. I like to see that. Push to interact, another small mod, which we've already seen, but it's hugely helpful in Hot's Hood, and I only see popularity for that section of the mod. So, another great addition if you choose not to use Hot's Hood, but still want that function. Okay, so here is where the problem lies. Mutators. Now, I like mutators. The idea of them on the whole is excellent. Essentially, they add all sorts of different challenge modes that can be wacky and fun, and they make great videos, and in the future I think I may mess around with them. There's a randomizer option to allow you to surprise yourself when you enter the heist, charged down by a horde of exploding cloakers, and they can be used in conjunction with one another to make even crazier heists. However, there are some incredibly powerful ones. We have 4th of July. We have Instagib. Both of these will allow you to complete heists incredibly easy, and because it's a 4-player mod, you can use it with other players who have GoonMod. They have to have GoonMod, keep that in mind. It doesn't allow you just to join random games and ruin it for people, which is huge. Other pirating mods do allow that, and that's why they're a huge problem, a pox on the community. This, on the other hand, absolutely none of that. You have to sign up for the madness, which is great. But it's still going to allow some people the edge. It's going to allow them to level faster if used properly in the team, and it's going to allow them to get more customisations again, and it does give them an edge. And I think this is why Overkill's on the fence. However, it's quite well managed. As soon as you turn a modification on, a mutation I should say, you can't obtain achievements. So, as far as Steam's terms and conditions are concerned, it doesn't go against that. Steam's quite strict on the way achievements are obtained. They don't like to see people cheat for achievements. And GoonHood or GoonMod will not allow you to, which I am so relieved by. But it's still going to give some small edges in the game, allow you to level faster, allow you to get better weapons potentially. And so there is a slight edge there. Again, I'd like to see these removed, really. I'd like to see that. I mean, 4th of July is so much fun, but it's so powerful. So, I'm on the fence, in all honesty. The other ones, though, you've got things like Addicts, which is crazy hard. You have to be carrying a bag of drugs to not be losing health. It's only possible on some heists, really. All cops go to heaven. Enemies will float upwards after death. This is just wacky. This is amazing fun. It's not going to change how the heist works, really. You've got some hard modes. I really like rationing. Enemies no longer drop ammo. Bulldozers have a chance to drop an ammo bag where they die. This is crazy fun. In a 4-man team, so much potential for challenges and great fun. Night of a Million Cloakers is ridiculous. You can have huge amounts of cops running at you at once, coupled with the body mod, and coupled with 4th of July, as much as I hate to say it, ridiculous amount of ragdolling, a ridiculous amount of fun. Mutators are amazing, but they pose a problem, and it's a problem that Overkill has to step back from. And this is the problem. Overkill doesn't want to stop the fun. That's exactly what they don't want to do. They like this. But at the same time, they can't get behind it because it offers just too much. It's not their vision for the game, and so they have to turn a blind eye to what otherwise would be a fantastic mod, I feel, for everybody to at least take a look at and try out. So much fun to be had here. And I'm probably going to do a lot of these single player, have a lot of fun with them, make some videos on them, but that's where it stops for me. I don't like Instagib, put it that way. Instagib is not fun. It ruins a lot of the heists, whereas these others can just make them more fun, more hilarious, and more wacky, and that's what Payday 2 is all about for me. So, mutators are a moot point. I like them. I think they can be done a slightly better way that maybe Overkill would like more, and I think this is what's ever so slightly holding back the mod. Alright guys, I had to save this feature for last. It's called crime.net cargo, and what it allows you to do is trade modifications, masks, patterns, materials, colors with your friends who also have the mod. Oh my god. Trading. How long have we been asking for trading? How long has this game suited trading? Now, let me tell you something. This has always been my inner feeling as far as Payday is concerned. Payday it's got a good customization basis. People love the in-game customization. It's important. It's always a part of the DLC. It makes a difference as to whether the DLC is worth it or not. That's how important customization is. People love it. This game could easily go the sort of way that TF2 has and become a customization trading fest. I don't want to see that. I think Overkill has done an incredible job with their pay model, with their current system, and avoided that. However, avoiding making trading a thing within the game on a less commercial level has always felt like an opportunity missed. What trading does is it brings together a tighter community, it brings together a community that speaks. It can also have some complications concerning the sort of cockiness that I find comes with trading, but to the same extent I feel like that is a risk worth taking for the potential boons of community feedback and communication that we would get from that. Customization is so huge. Trading would just make it bigger, and it would allow Overkill to put way more small little DLCs and additions in containing new patterns, materials, masks. Some people might not like that, some people might. It would be up to you. I don't know whether I want the game to go that way, but it has always seemed to me like an opportunity missed, at least on the financial front, for Overkill. Trading on this level though is perfect. I have wanted, as I've already mentioned, the gold material for the longest time. My friend's had it. He didn't have many Infamous, but he has gold, and I can't get that from him. I'd love to be able to trade. I would trade 2 of my duplicate Infamous with his 1 gold, but I can't. But with this, we can. And it's a crazy efficient system. It works very well, and I don't think I could possibly ask for more. If more people knew about this, if more people knew about GoonMod, if more people used it, if more people talked about it, we would see these features being brought up to Overkill. Overkill would have to consider them. Overkill would have to take a good look at them. And I know this is something that they care about. This kind of thing is definitely the way that they've wanted the game to lean for a while. And crime.net cargo brings so much potential within the game if more people start using it. Think on that one, guys. At the end of the mission, you get something for a shotgun. I hate shotguns. I only use snipers. Your friend got a sniper attachment? Sorted. It makes the RNG more bearable again, which is something I've always been a fan of. And then, as I've already said, community discussion is so important, and that is exactly what it brings out. I do not want to see a financial trading market like we see within TF2. It's turned the game into a bit of a wasteland, and I love TF2, don't get me wrong. Payday 2, please don't go that way, but do take a look at some of the things that they got right with trading and customization, and I definitely foresee great things for GoonMod if things go that way. GoonMod, GoonMod, whichever way you want to call it. So that has been it. GoonMod offers so much. I'm incredibly excited about the potential future of this mod. It is so good for customization, so good for just a laugh with friends, and it adds so much more community interaction, which is something so important. Payday goes through a lull around about this time every year. Christmas sales over, people aren't buying the game. It's around about now when we need a small community revitalization, and this is exactly what it is. Overkill choose not to look at this too closely. They choose to take a backward step from this one because it has some dodgy features, because some members, a lot of the purists, a lot of you guys who've been around for ages, and I really respect that, say we don't like this. But to the same extent, you could have this mod installed and still be a purist. You wouldn't need to tick any of these boxes. That's how good the options menu is. If this mod, the same way Hoxhood did, let's be honest, Hoxhood was not something that everyone liked. Hoxhood definitely gave small advantages to some players who use it efficiently. It got very popular. It got community support. And Overkill paid attention. Overkill might be like, well, we're not entirely comfortable with this. This isn't exactly our vision for the in-game HUD. But you guys like it? Oh, we like you. So we're going to endorse this and we are going to make it a thing. Because if you guys like it, more guys might like it. And that's how the Hoxhood development occurred and how it's such a good mod. Now, GoonMod rivals it. It really does. While it doesn't offer such a great HUD, the two work in tandem, by the way, next to each other. You can have both if you're used to messing around with mods. But if GoonHUD went the same way, this got really popular. I mean, I know for a fact from the start of the game, trading was something people wanted. Additional customization was something people wanted. And some of these small changes are just excellent. And if people really start to value them, value the potential community growth that it could cultivate, then maybe Overkill will sit back and say, yeah, we see the value in this. And I, personally, really do see the value in GoonMod. But I also see the flaws. And I hope that maybe if a few of these are ironed out, a few mods down the line, it's still a growing mod. It's still getting better and better. Maybe Overkill are going to re-review their situation, take a look at it again and say, well, maybe this is worth throwing our weight behind, and the community might set up and pay attention, because this is great work. This is really professional stuff. Incredibly good mod. We want to see more of this stuff. Payday 2 is in such an uncomfortable situation because it in itself treads the line of being Skyrim but also Call of Duty. What I mean by that is Skyrim is a game filled with mods. Payday should be filled with mods. But if you were to start modding Call of Duty or Counter-Strike, you'd be messing with everybody's gameplay experience, and that's what you do with Payday. But Payday's just slightly removed from that. Payday has more of a personal solo experience as well that is more akin to Skyrim and deserves the modifications. And that's why it's in a tough spot, and that's why this is very difficult to discuss. This has been Nolly, guys. I hope you've enjoyed my review. I hope you guys, if you are interested by this review, will take a look at the link in the description below. It has a link not only to the download page, but also to game mechanics tutorial if you're struggling to download it. Take a look at other people's views on this. Don't just look at mine. There's a subreddit for whether or not it's not a subreddit. There is information on the subreddit for whether or not it's cheating. Worth giving it a read. I think GoonMod should have a very exciting future within Payday, the same as I believe Payday is still growing as a game. Thanks for watching, guys. See you all in the next one.